Hi guys, yeah, as of yesterday I was doing the restoration of my vintage Millennium Falcon, the Millennium Falcon that came out in 1979. I remember getting one in 1982. I've already done a recap of all that before. This is a new one that I've got entirely after selling my one when I was still at school. Basically, I've done some improvements. As you can see, I've added labels to it, which really does make it look a lot more better. Yes, but I've gone one step further. This part, I've got to admit, does not look very good, which is basically I'm adding the exhaust burns coming from that part. I'm going to render that to make it look even better, just leave a marking for it, because what I plan to do for that is that I want to, I'm going to weather it later on. You see, basically, so hopefully that will cover most of that, and I could probably use the acrylic paint to cover that part of it all. But even with the labels that I've got on it, it looks pretty good. I mean, when you add the labels to it and everything, it's actually quite interesting. I've even put some underneath, and I printed some other ones out myself. So I've done all that so far, so that's pretty good. Now, I've decided to go one step further, which basically was to do some interior cockpit improvements. And basically just by printing them out, printing scenes out on the computer and then cutting them to size, I've actually been able to do this. At the back, this was just normally blue, the same colour as where the cockpit front was. So what I've been able to do is actually put passenger seats in the back, even though that nobody can really sit in them. You have passenger seats present that people can basically gives the image that like it's another part of the ship. So I'm quite impressed with that I did that myself and everything, and managed to get it fitted in perfectly without having to redo it or anything. I ran out of printer ink, you see, so I had to go and get some. I ordered some from Amazon, but then I thought I couldn't wait. I've got to sort of get this done, so this is why I can't wait for another week. I'd rather sort of get this out of the way and get it done as soon as I can. So I'm quite impressed with that and the way that that looks. So I've done that part. And then if I turn it around, you're going to see the other, what I've done, which is basically restoring the back part. Now, it was a bit more complex, a bit more difficult, because if anybody's got the Power of the Force version, they know about how you have a cockpit or a passageway that links to the cockpit in that version. So I've done that, and then I've sort of added like another passageway. If you look carefully, I've sort of put another passageway sort of going that way, and then I put like supposed to be the computer, the hyperdrive computer in this corner here. So I've managed to fit that on. I basically just put it on top of the original card just to make it look a bit more modernized and everything. So I'm quite impressed with that as well. It's a lot of bends and kinks, but in some cases and use a bit of super glue just to sort of like get that part done. But I've been able to do that, so I'm quite impressed with that as well, actually. So did that, and then I also printed out some images that was on the computer for burn marks and scratches, just to add a few more, labels to it and everything. Once I put the cover back on, you will actually see how it looks. Vast improvement from yesterday, because when I did it yesterday, it shows how bland it looked from before, because it looks quite bland, you see, and I haven't even weathered it yet. So, and you can see the difference. You can see how it looks. You can see how discoloured the cover is and how the cockpit is. So when I do the painting, I'm going to have to try and probably put a bit more black paint on that to try and make it look a bit more weathered. But as you can see, it is actually quite impressive with all the labels on it. So, but I'm very impressed with what I've done interior-wise, especially for that cockpit thing, because I didn't know if it's actually going to work. I had to cut a little bit at the bottom, because there's a part that rises up that cuts out, separates the two seats together. So I'm quite happy. So I'm quite impressed with that. So I'm going to see how the weathering goes later on. I'll do that later on, and you'll see that video. And for now, I'll see you guys later. Bye.